Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I would like to welcome you all to His Holiness Candramauli Maharaj's daily online class. Today is a very special occasion on the appearance of Lord Nityananda. It's Nityananda Trayodashi. I'd like to welcome you all. My humble obeisances to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna Maharaj, my humble obeisances to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Very well, glories to Prabhupada. My obeisances.
So Maharaj, today will be a special class on Nityananda
Yeah,
Trayodashi. Yes, thank you.
we'll speak on Lord Nityananda for sure. Okay. Let's see here. Gyantimirandasya Gana Jana Salakaya Chaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadam Mayam Dadati Swampadantikam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimakte Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaudavani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavari Pastyatya Desatarine Vanchakalpa Trubhischa Kripa Sindhu Pevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I'll read one verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is Adi Lila, chapter 1, verse number 7. Sankarshana Karnatoya Sai Garbhada Sai Chapayodaya Sai Sesha Cha Yasmad Kala Sanityanandya Rama Sharadam Mamatstu. I'll read it again. Sankarshana Karnatoya Sahi Garbha Sai Chapayado Sashi Sesha Chayasmakala Sanditya Nandakya Rama Sharanam Mamatsu. Translation: May Sri Nityananda Ram be the object of my constant remembrance. Sankarshanam, Seshanag and the Vishnus who lie in the Karna ocean, Garbha ocean, an ocean of milk are his plenary portions and portions of his plenary portion. So who is Nityananda? It's mentioned Brajendran Nandanaye Sachi Sutta Hoilose Balaram Hoilino Nitai. So that same Krishna and Balaram of Vrindavan has now reappeared in this age of Kali as Sri Nityananda Ram and Lord Chaitanya. And they have come, as it says, one day Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanando Sanodido Garodaya Pushpan Vanto Chitra Sando Tamo Nudo. There is a moon and there is a sun. The sun and the moon are the light within the world. Without the sun and the moon, there is no light. There's no life. There's nothing. It's just dead, cold, useless earth. But with the sun, everything becomes alive. There's heat, there's warmth, there's nutrition, there's nourishment, there's growth. Everything living entities need to live happily and healthy, at least in a material perspective, is provided by the sun. And the moon, The moon is a reflection of the sun, but the moon gives off cooling light. As the sun gives off light that is heating, the moon gives off light that is cooling. And at night, when the cultivators would work hard in the fields, and at the end of the day, feeling very tired, they would sit underneath the moonlight. And the light of the moon would nourish them, and they would feel cooled and relaxed and re-energized just by the light of the moon. So it's explained that these two personalities have come. They are like the sun and the moon, rising over the horizon of Gaudiya to dissipate the darkness of ignorance in this age of Kali. What is that ignorance? The ignorance is that people in this age think that to enjoy the senses and the body is the goal of life. In other words, their ignorance has fallen down to such a low level that they act on the animal level of the animals. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, and providing a society that supports these four activities as the ultimate principles of success and happiness. And if one can gain material opulences, if one can somehow or other have a nice body that works without so much disease, then they consider that success in life. But the animals are doing the same thing, and they do it without thinking or planning. It happens automatically. Human life is meant for atato brahma jigyasa, to inquire into the nature of the absolute truth. So people can understand that, and therefore they live simply to satisfy the demands of the body, mind, senses, and the intelligence also. So the Lord, being merciful, he manifests himself in different forms of himself. 2 million years ago, that same Krishna and Balaram were Lord Ramachandra and Lakshman, who killed the demons who were harassing the world and who were causing so much havoc. And the Lord arranged for these demons to be eliminated. There were millions of them, guided under one powerful demon named Ravan. So that same Krishna and Balaram has come in Vrindavan in the end of the Dwapara Yuga to perform their pastimes that are just like their pastimes in the spiritual world, playing with the cows, becoming the son of his devotees, Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yasoda, and performing his wonderful leelas that he performs in the spiritual world. Now, he's manifested that spiritual world in the material world in the area of Vrindavan Dham for his own transcendental pleasure and to also remove the demons in the world as they used to come and attack him in so many different ways. He was dispatching every day at least 2 demons per day. The demons that we hear about are some of the prominent ones, but there were many more who were followers of these same demons. So, and now this age of Kali is meant Manda Sumanda Mateo Manya Bhagrupatriham. People are lazy, unlucky, misguided, and always disturbed. There are so many problems in this age because this age is like the winter of all material ages, where people are not inclined to spiritual life. They're inclined to material arrangements, economic development, sense gratification, and maybe a few want liberation. But most of the people are on the level of animals. You might say polished animals, but still animal life. I mean, everything is judged by activity and not by descriptions given by the plan makers. Okay, so Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya, Krishna Balaram has come again. And Lord Nityananda, he is the first expansion of Balaram, and as Balaram expands into the Chaturvyuha, Sankarshana, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, and Vasudeva, and then re-expands again into the Narayan features in the spiritual world, which are all the transcendental forms of the Lord in his form as Narayan, which make up the Vaikuntha realm. They're unlimited and they're all four-armed. And then that Sankarsh, then Narayan expands into Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Aniruddha, and Pradyumna for the second time, and the second manifestation is meant for bringing about the creation of the material energy. And that second Sankarshan expands as Mahavishnu. So that's what we're reading in this verse here. It says he is Sankarshan, Seshanagana Vishnu's lie on the current ocean. And the ocean of milk, and there are portions and plenary portions and portions of his plenary portion in the different manifestations of the Godhead for different purposes, especially for bringing about and conducting and organizing and maintaining the material energy. So this is the position of Nityananda. But he comes as the older brother of Lord Chaitanya. In his early manifestations as Lakshman, he was the younger brother, and it says in the Shastras that he had to undergo much suffering because Lord Ram was also suffering so much, especially from his separation from his eternal consort, the goddess of fortune, Sita Devi. And he had to do certain services that the Lord had asked him to do, which he didn't want to do because he felt that these services were not right. He had differences of opinion, but being the younger brother, he was duty bound to obey the older brother, and so he did it. But he was thinking, I'm not coming anymore. In my next incarnation, I'm going to come as the older brother. That way I can choose how I can serve. Of course, his choice was always to serve his younger brother, which was Krishna in the first manifestation, and now Lord Chaitanya in the second manifestation, for the benefit of spreading Krishna consciousness and for the benefit of killing so many demons. And then, of course, he's there to accompany. He takes different positions in relationship to Lord Chaitanya. His body is so soft and so delicate, that's mentioned in the Shastras, that it's even softer than a rose petal. And he turns his body, expands his body into the bedstead where Lord Chaitanya can take rest at night. So he becomes the bed of Lord Chaitanya. He also becomes the umbrella of Lord Chaitanya. In some cases, he becomes the jewelry of Lord Chaitanya. He becomes the footwear of Lord Chaitanya, his clothes, and in many cases, when for worship of Lord Chaitanya, he becomes the artsy paraphernalia. He expands himself in different ways to serve his younger brother, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for the pleasure of the Lord and for the expansion of their mission in this world. He likes to glorify Lord Chaitanya, and he knows Lord Chaitanya's mission is to spread the holy name. So he goes in different places around Gaudiya and other places, and he's a vanik, he's a merchant. He opens up shops, and he has a product, and he's calling all of his customers, come, I have the product you're all looking for. And it's very cheap. It's not free, you have to pay for it. but I will give you in proportion to how much of the currency you can give. So please step up and get your share, and then he will give accordingly. But then it's described, what is that currency? It's not some rupees, it's not some dollars, it's not some British pounds. It's none of the currencies of the material world. It's faith. It's faith. How much faith do you have? You can achieve the mercy of the holy name. That is his product. Bodo suker kalugai. Bodo suker kalugai. Surabi. Kundeche. Namerha kuleche. Koda nitai. Koda nitai. Koda means merchant. And he becomes a merchant and he's canvassing all around. Him and Lord Nityananda, him and Haridas Thakur used to go from place to place in Navadvip, knocking on people's doors and saying, the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna has come, and he's come with the chanting of the holy names of the Lord, which is the Yuga Dharma in this age, benefits everyone, gives everyone life, happiness, love. Please take this chanting. Your life will be happy, perfect. Stop wasting your time decorating your dead bodies. Take time and do the goal of life. That is, glorify the Lord by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. He's freely giving this holy name according to how much faith we can have, that much we can accept the glories of the holy name and the process of chanting the holy name. And they were approaching everyone. They approached these two big, powerful dacoits. The name was Jagai and Madai. They tried to give them the holy name, but nothing worked. In fact, they became angry and attacked Lord Nityananda and hit him in the head with a pot and caused his body to bleed. Of course, when Lord Chaitanya found out, he became completely angry, came to the spot with a Sudarshan chakra, and was about to kill him. But Lord Nityananda, being the compassion manifestation of the absolute truth, he is Guru Tattva. All of the gurus are manifestations of him as they do their work in the world to canvas, to bring the conditioned souls back to the process of pure devotional service. He is the source of all gurus in the material world. And when one reaches spontaneous love for Krishna in devotional service, then he offers that same position to Srimati Radharani, and she becomes the guru for those who want to enter into Sri Vrindavan. So these two personalities, Lord Nityananda and Srimati Radharani, are the eternal gurus. One is the guru for bringing us to Krishna. The other one is one to give us love for Krishna. Radharani is Prem Guru. And Lord Nityananda Balaram, he is the Guru Tattva. We're all the manifestations of the Spirit, of the Supreme Lord, in the form of serving the Supreme Lord, in the form of bringing the conditioned souls back to their position of loving devotional service. That is Lord Nityananda. And so, after being hit in the head with the pot, of course, he stopped Lord Chaitanya from killing these two demons and gave them another 7th chance. They become repentant, offered their obeisances, were completely sorry for their offenses. Because of that, they received the mercy of Lord Nityananda. And Lord Nityananda forgave them. Lord Chaitanya also forgave them and allowed them to enter into the association of his devotees, associates, and they became actually devotees to help Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya spread the glories of the holy name. At one point, Madai, who had been the one who caused, Madai was never happy, even after he got freed from the reactions of his sinful activities by the mercy of Lord Nityananda. He was never happy because he would always think, I caused this great personality so much suffering. I should be, beaten. He was like lamenting how sorry he was for offending not only Lord Nityananda, but he mentions to Lord Nityananda, I have committed so many offenses to so many types of people. I can't even remember who they are or whether their names. So please give me some service so I can free myself from this lamentation of suffering due to the fact that when I think about what I used to be and how horrible I was a monster causing harm to everyone. The Lord Nityananda became very compassionate and told him, all right, I have a service for you. You go to the banks of the Ganga, and in one area of the Ganga, near the Ganga, you build a ghat where people can come and bathe before they go into the Ganga, and that will be your ghat. It'll be called Madai Ghat, and you stay there and you welcome all the people to come and take baths. And so he did that. But many of the people, when they saw Madai, they became angry because they remembered what he had done. So they would take a rock and throw it at him. The rock would hit him, and he would pick up the rock and walk over to the person who threw it and say, here, throw it again. I deserve worse. So you can see the power of Lord Nityananda's mercy. He transformed these horrible persons who were ruthless and senseless and causing harm. They killed so many people, raped so many women, stole so much people's property, burned people's houses down. They were just the worst of the worst. But now they were not only devotees of the Lord, but they were actually happy to accept whatever suffering that they were supposed to get as a means to purify themselves from all of their sinful activity. Now that's the mercy of Lord Nityananda. And so of course, he saved so many people. I'll read one particular pastime, which you might find that's quite interesting. Just give me a moment here and I'll get to that pastime. Okay, Nityananda. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Oh, where is it? Okay. So Lord Chaitanya told Lord Nityananda, because Lord Chaitanya had, after taking sannyas, he had gone to Jagannath Puri to stay there and to preach in Jagannath Puri and spread the glories of the holy name. And he told Lord Nityananda, you stay in Navadvip and do the same. Well, one time Lord Nityananda came with all of the residents of Navadvip to see Lord Chaitanya in Jagannath Puri. So it's described, the two of them met in a very, very loving way and spoke very, very secretly amongst themselves. But one thing that was understood, Lord Chaitanya again sent Lord Nityananda back to Navadvip, and so he went back uh, with his Gopals, and that's a wonderful story how they went back. Um, I can read that story also, which is really quite long, but um, I think I'll go on to this other story because it describes after he reached Navadvip, he received so much worship from Raghava Pandit and the devotees. He performed kirtan for 3 months at the house of Raghava Pandit, along with his disciples, followers who were also in his same mood as cowherd boys. So now, and of course, many people wanted to offer gifts, so they offered the best of everything they had, and many were costly garments, ornaments, gold, jewels, and many other things for the pleasure of Lord Nityananda. The Lord Nityananda, he didn't normally dress like that, but just to accept their offerings, he did. And one he was, because it mentions he was wandering about, and he gave one mercy to one particular wealthy Vaishnava who supplied many of the costly ornament. And then he went on with his Gopals to Navadvip. And when he got there, it describes there was a thief who was in charge of a big band of thieves. And he saw Lord Nityananda. He was thinking, he was wearing ornaments of gold, necklaces, and pearl necklaces, jeweled earrings, crowns, gold ankle bells, armlets, highly decorated and very costly jewelry and gold. And he was out with his devotees doing Sankirtan every day in the streets. And this one thief who was in charge of him was thinking, look at all of that treasure that person is wearing. Wow. And he called his other friends who were also dacoits. If we can steal from that person, then we can stop this thievery and we can retire. We'll have enough wealth to live nicely, comfortably for the rest of our life. So these demons, they were worshiping various demigods to get some power. And sometimes even the demons, they worship the demigods. Don't think that only devotees worship demigods. Demons also worship demigods to get material gain. And then they were glorifying their worship of Goddess Durga. Wow, she is so kind to us. She has put everything we want in one place. Just see how merciful she is. We cannot imagine such wealth. The thief was thinking, if we can steal these jewels, then we can live happily, comfortably. At that time, in the evening, Lord Nityananda was staying at the house of Haranya Pandit. And he would perform Sankirtan in the house of Haranya Pandit in the evening, and during the day he would go out with his Gopals chanting and dancing in the street. So this thief was noticing he would go back to the house of Haranya. So one night they all decided this is the time they were going to attack Lord Nityananda and steal all his ornaments. So one spy was going there just to see what was going on. And he said, right now Nityananda is eating. Everyone else is awake. It is not a good time for us to go and take his ornaments. So we will wait until nighttime when everyone is sleeping, and then we will go and steal all his ornaments. So they had come to wait for the night, and they were armed. There were many thieves, and they had at least 4 or 5 different weapons. When they were waiting, and as the night was getting darker and darker, all of the thieves fell asleep. And then next thing they knew, they were hearing the sounds of the crows in the morning. And the morning had come, and there was broad daylight. And then they were discussing among the thieves, and they were blaming each other. You fell asleep. No, you fell asleep. Boy, you fell asleep. You fell asleep. They were blaming like that. They began fighting amongst themselves. It was your fault. Why didn't you stay awake? And someone else said, it wasn't my fault, it was your fault. And the head of the thieves said, why are we arguing? There are many more nights to come. We're arguing. Something went wrong. Why did we go wrong? Because we didn't honor our goddess Chandi. So let us go and worship her very nicely, and we will come tomorrow night. So tonight we will worship her with wine and meat and many other unmentionable items. So they worshiped Durga that night. They got their weapons fired up, cleaned their weapons very nicely. And then they were ready for the second night. And then they saw as they came these big, huge, gigantic guards, very big. They were at least, as is described in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, they were about 3 meters tall, huge, carrying big, gigantic swords. And they were not only tall, but very, very stout and strong, at least 2 meters wide also. And they were chanting, Haribo, 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 as they were circumambulating the house where Lord Nityananda was staying. And the thieves were starting arguing among themselves, well, who are these persons? And then the head of the thief said, well, the king must have come and brought his guards, so it is not a good night, so we should wait. And so after a while, they left for a few nights, and they came back, and then they started to criticize. They heard about Lord Nityananda. They said, I heard he's a very special personality. He must have these guards protecting him. Someone else said, yeah, I heard he's a Goswami, a controller in a sense, but I can see how much he eats. Why would he wear such costly jewels if he's a Goswami? And then they all started a conjecture. These dignitaries must have come for some reason. So let's come back in 10 days. So they went about their business. 10-day letters, they bend again. Each thief carrying 5 to 10 weapons. This time there were no guards, and they felt sure they were going to steal Nityananda's ornaments. All of them started approaching the house, and all of a sudden it became pitch black, and nobody could see anything. And it became darker and darker and darker. It became so dark they couldn't even see their hands in front of their faces. And they start stumbling around in the dark. And one thief fell into a ditch, and he was getting eaten by gigantic mosquitoes and huge leeches. Another fell into a garbage pit when he was being eaten by mosquitoes and scorpions. Another one fell into a thorn bush and was pierced by thorns all over, and he couldn't even move without his body being cut. Another fell into a canal and broke his leg, and he had an extremely high fever. His body was burning. Then all of a sudden, Indra decided to add to the fun. And all of a sudden, clouds came, and there was torrential rains, and the rains was pouring down. It was freezing rain, and they were all couldn't move because they were so much, couldn't see anything, being attacked by various types of insects. And the rain turned into hail, and these big, gigantic balls of ice were pelting them. And all of a sudden, they were screaming, couldn't do anything. In the mind of the thief, he began to think. This went on for some time, and they were all suffering. Then this head of the thief, he was actually a Brahmana. He was born in a Brahmin family, at least. And he started to think, who is this Nityananda? He's not an ordinary person. How we could not steal his things the first night. Then there were guards. Now situation has happened. Then all of a sudden he started to pray in his heart to Lord Nityananda. And similarly, all of a sudden, as he was praying, he could realize, oh yes, this person is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, no other than the original Supreme Lord. While he was meditating on the Lord and his lotus feet, all of a sudden the rain stopped, the hail stopped, light appeared, and they picked themselves up, dragging themselves. They left the scene. The thief, he decided to immediately take some opportunity. So he came to the house of Pandit, and he fell on the ground, came inside. The devotees were thinking, uh-oh, this guy is a thief. What kind of show is he making here? Let's be careful. He's going to do something harmful. Tears were coming from his eyes, though, and then it became obvious. And then he fell at the feet of Lord Nityananda, and he started grabbing the feet and crying and begging, I've committed so many offenses to you. I wanted to cause harm to you. Please be merciful. Please forgive me. Please make me your devotee. He was praying in so many ways. Nityananda said to the thief, tell me, what is it that you're experiencing? Why are you behaving in this way? Have you received the mercy of Lord Krishna? The thief was lying on the ground, clasping the lotus feet of Nityananda. He said, I've offended you. I deserve to die. Whether I live or die doesn't make any difference. I've come to your lotus feet. You can do whatever you want. You can let me live or you can kill me. I've committed a great offense. And then he explained, I wanted to rob your jewelry. I have offended you, and so long as there's no use for me maintaining this life in this body. I've come to seek your forgiveness. Please allow me. I want to go to the Ganga and drown myself in the Ganga. Lord Nityananda said, I can understand, having heard how much you have suffered. And you must be a servant of Lord Krishna, that you have received his mercy. This is an important point. By seeing how much you suffered, you must be a servant of Lord Krishna. What kind of statement is that? It makes me think of the statement that Prabhupada once said in a morning walk in Tehran. Devotees were walking, and Srila Prabhupada stopped and turned to his devotees, and he said, one will not be recognized as a great devotee of Krishna until he has been severely tested by Krishna. The devotee must have been thinking, what does that mean? What is Prabhupada saying? And Prabhupada, just like Prahlad, Haridas Thakur, Bali Maharaj, the Pandavas, they were all severely tested, and therefore they are known as great devotees. So Lord Nityananda understood that he received this test just to purify him and bring him to the position. And now he wanted to go and drown himself in the Ganges. The Lord Nityananda
I think, dear devotees, please bear with Maharaj. I think there could be a internet connection at his end. Thank you for your patience. I'll just start the kirtan whilst Maharaj hopefully joins back. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So it appears that there is an internet issue on Maharaj's end. We don't know when Maharaj would be back, but just to continue with the flow of the call and flow of the topic today, I think it would be a good idea to discuss and see if there's anybody has any questions, comments, or realizations about this wonderful pastimes of Lord Nityananda as a personality, as a Guru Tattva, or about anything else that you would like to share, because it's a very special and a very merciful day, to me at least. So it would be nice to, if we can just do a discussion. Anybody would like to share something about the content, that would be appreciated, devotees. And if it would be good if you can turn on your cameras as well, make it a bit more interactive. Yes, Vraj Mandal Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, dear Vaishnavas. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru Maharaj, and all glories to all of your lotus feet. As we know, today is such a special, special day. Personally, it's my favorite. My love for Nityananda Ram stems many, many moons back. He's very, very, very special, very merciful. And a few throughout the years, I picked up on some points and certain, just some points in classes. And when Lord Nityananda Ram's, when he was young, his eyes looked like a baby deer's eyes. So he was that beautiful. So can you imagine a baby deer, how sweet his eyes must be? So it's said that his eyes were like that, very, very beautiful, very pretty. You just looked at his eyes and you just fall in love with him. And as we know, when the two were going to meet, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda Ram were going to meet, and we know Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was sending the devotees to come find him. He's here, he's arrived, he's arrived. And Nityananda Ram was shouting Chaitanya, and he was shouting so loud and powerfully that he split the sky. The sky split, and it made a tremendous thunder, like a big split, bang. And you could hear that, and it's mentioned, I think I'm not sure which book, it might be Gaudadesha, that he splits the sky open completely by just shouting Gauranga's name. So we should firmly grasp the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda completely and implicitly. And I think Guru Maharaj was actually at this point with this devotee, or well, to be a devotee, this individual is grasping Lord Nityananda Mahaprabhu's feet. And we should do the same. We should grasp his feet, hold them firmly, because one who has not actually done that is like an uncontrollable animal. And we must firmly hold his lotus feet. It's the only way forward. Otherwise, there's no other way.
Thank you, Prabhuji. That's a very, very sweet description of his wonderful eyes. But also, it's a very powerful tattva, as you said, that there's no other way. There is no other way apart from his mercy.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure. Harinam, Eva Kevalam.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much, Prabhuji, for sharing that.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Jai. Haribo Dandava.
Hare Krishna. Anybody else would like to share? Sridevi Mataji, maybe you would like to share something about this special day, some special mood and mercy?
Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to our wonderful Guru Maharaj. I, did not really understand Lord Nityananda's mercy until I came to Mayapur. And in Mayapur, it was unbelievable. It was Nityananda Trayodashi, and I was sitting there and seeing the beautiful Abhishek. And I had had many unfortunate experiences before I came to Mayapur. So I'd been, quite traumatized and very much in pain. And suddenly in my heart, I started praying for all those people who had tormented me and traumatized me. And in my heart, I was begging for Lord Nityananda's mercy on them. And I couldn't believe myself. I couldn't believe what was happening. It was Lord Nityananda who was doing everything. I had not even any such thought in my head. And I remember telling Maharaj, I couldn't believe it, what was happening. But it was Lord Nityananda saying, just let it go and just, forgive them and just. And Maharaj was so happy to hear that when he said that, when I revealed that. And then I just said, this got to be Lord Nityananda's mercy. There's no way I could have done, all that forgiving, but I did it. And it was just Lord Nityananda doing it. So to me, that was a very amazing experience of how merciful he is, how merciful he is, and how much he wants the Lord Chaitanya's mercy spreads everywhere. It's just amazing. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for sharing your personal experience and realization of the wonderful mercy of Lord Nityananda. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Anybody else would like to share something that comes to Lord Nityananda? I mean, I would like to. I was going to ask Maharaj this question. We have a question. So this is a comment, I think, from Raghupati Raghav Prabhu. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. A devotee mentioned to me today that he feels he always forgets Lord Nityananda throughout the year as the other festival commences. He asked me how he can always remember Lord Nityananda's mercy. Does anyone have any advice I can share to keep Nityananda Prabhu's lotus feet imprinted in our hearts and minds? Yes, Mataji, please go ahead. You have your hands raised.
Nitai pada kamala, koti chandra shushitala. That's my advice. This is such a beautiful bhajan. And in that purport, if you listen to what Prabhupada is saying, Prabhupada gives such a powerful purport. It is so uplifting. And what's more, it firmly makes you believe in the mercy of Lord Nityananda. Because in that particular song purport, Prabhupada says, Sudrida Vishwasakodi, do not have any doubts. Do not have any doubts. Just catch hold of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda and be firm and free from any doubt whatsoever, because he will give you that cooling moonshine and he will help you cross over by giving you Lord Chaitanya's mercy, and he will take care of your spiritual life, because this is the particular desire of Lord Nityananda, that he really wants to safeguard our spiritual life, because he is the Adi Guru. He teaches what is service. He is the epitome of pure and perfect servitorship to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his servitor form. So he wants to teach everyone that, and he is very, very interested in making sure that our spiritual life remains intact, whatever we are suffering from, whatever attacks are coming. If we pray to his lotus feet and catch hold of his lotus feet, our spiritual service will not be hampered. It will not be affected. It will be protected by Lord Nityananda's mercy. Another thing we can pray to Lord Nityananda is for devotional service. Supposing we want a particular service very much, we are not getting it, and we can pray to Lord Nityananda, my dear Lord, I really want to serve you. Please help me. I want to do this service. And Lord Nityananda grants that wish, because if it's coming sincerely with the pure desire to serve, he is very happy to facilitate it. So not only he protects, he facilitates. And he safeguards our spiritual life by making it easy to get Lord Chaitanya's mercy through him. So this is what I wanted to share with my dear Raghupati. You please read that translation for this purport. It is there in the songs of Vaishnava Acharyas. I cannot tell you how many times I read that, and it gave me so much, it's like when you're in a very dark place and your car is driving through the storm, through the rain, through the lightning, and you cannot see, but your headlights give you just enough light to see the next 10 feet ahead. So you drive that much. Then again, the light gives you enough. So like this, I was just clinging to the purport of this song because it helped me cross over so many difficulties and so many obstacles. So I just thought I will share with you how wonderful it is to hear this song and also read Srila Prabhupada's purport on this song. It is very valuable for our spiritual life.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much.
If you like, we can read the words of
Yeah,
this song.
I was gonna say the same thing. So let
Okay.
me just share it. I think it would be wonderful. Just a second. One moment. Okay. Shall we read the translations or shall we?
We can ask different devotees to read each
Yes.
paragraph. Dinanath, you start with number 1, and then
Okay.
Raghupati can read 2, and like that we can ask everyone to take a turn.
Yes, that's a good idea, Mataji. I will start. The lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are a shelter where one will get soothing moonlight, not only of one, but millions of moons. If the world wants to have real peace, it should take shelter of Lord Nityananda. Unless one takes shelter under the shade of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, it will be very difficult for him to approach Radha Krishna. If one actually wants to enter into the dancing party of Radha Krishna, he must firmly catch hold of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda.
So shall I read 2?
Yes.
So anyone who has not established his relationship with Nityananda Prabhu is understood to have spoilt his valuable human birth. Such a human being such a human being is actually an uncontrollable animal because he never uttered the holy name of Nityananda. He has become merged into so-called material happiness. What can his useless education and family tradition do to help him?
Okay.
Can
Anybody
I
else?
read third?
Yes.
Being maddened after false prestige and identification with the body, one is thinking, "Oh, what is Nityanand? What can he do for me? I don't care." The result is that he is accepting something false to be truth. If you actually want to approach the association of Radha Krishna, you must first achieve the mercy of Lord Nityanand. When he is merciful towards you, then you will be able to approach Radha Krishna. Therefore, you should firmly grasp the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody wants to have the last?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can I read?
Yes, Prabhuji.
The lotus feet of Nityananda are not illusion, they are a fact. One who engages in the transcendental loving service of Nityananda is also transcendental. Always try to catch the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. This Narottama Dasa is very unhappy, therefore I am praying the Lord Nityananda to make me happy. My dear Lord, please keep me close to your lotus feet. Hare Krishna.
Hi, Hare Krishna. Very, very sweet and very powerful tattva in this translations. Thank you very much. So any questions, comments? I mean, I had a question for Maharaj where we some of the pastimes of Lord Nityananda Prabhu is very, very bewildering because he acts as a avaduta. And it's very difficult to comprehend, with my tiny brain. I don't try to analyze too much of that, but I was going to ask Maharaj about to shed some light on those sort of, why does he act in that avadut manner? But yes, if anybody has anything to share on that, that would be good. Otherwise, it's okay. We can ask Maharaj some other day. But that was my question to Maharaj today.
Well, we'll save it up for Guru Maharaj because this tattva is very deep and very hard to understand. Him running around naked, him drinking milk from Malini's breast like a baby. All these things we cannot, as you rightly said, understand with our teeny tiny brain, nor can we, speculate. Only the pure devotee like Guru Maharaj can explain it in such a way that maybe something will get into our dull heads. So we'll save it up for Guru Maharaj.
That's okay. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so I am conscious of the time at the moment. If there is any further questions or comments, we can continue, or else, Mataji, do you want to chant or something? I don't know how's
Yeah,
the.
Guru Maharaj likes that we do some chanting, together in the evening also, which is
Okay.
evening for me. For you, it is afternoon, and for the US guys, it's morning. For some of you, I don't know what's the time, but
Okay.
we are all three together on three different zones, and here we are coming together. So if there are no, as you rightly said, if there's no further comments, questions, we can go on to chanting, unless somebody wants to say something.
In that case, Mataji, can I humbly request you to be the host? I have to drop off if that's okay. Thank you. Thank you very
Sure,
much.
no problem. I will share the screen.
Sorry, I made Srimati Mataji the host. Sorry, Mataji. But you are still the co-host. Srimati Mataji, can you make Mataji the host? Okay. Thank you.
Is it possible that all of you are seeing the screen share I just did?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, very good. All right. Guru Maharaj really wants us all to hear our own voice when chanting. He doesn't really like, Srila Prabhupada's japa tape. So yesterday, Guru Maharaj said, please do the chanting. So with your humble permission, I will chant very softly, and I request all of you also to chant. Is that all right?
Yes, sure. Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you. I was just going to add that, Guru Maharaj's point on this, particularly, and I had a class, funny enough, not yesterday, the day before, and I can't remember the spiritual master who was giving the class. He specified that when we are chanting, it is not what we are saying. No, he specified twice. He goes, it's not how you are saying it, it's what you are hearing. So
Right.
sometimes, and he explained, sometimes I think some individuals whisper when they chant, which is okay, but you should really speak it. You should hear it. And so, yes, we can chant, we should have Prabhupada chanting. You've got to hear yourself chanting, because that's the poem to Krishna. That's the poem we're speaking to Krishna. We're talking to Krishna and Radharani and Lord Ram and so on. So if we are just listening to Srila Prabhupada chanting and we're not hearing ourselves, then we're missing a big piece of the cake. So this is the point that Guru Maharaj is emphasizing on, that we need to hear the chanting. We must listen and hear the chanting, hear ourselves chanting Krishna's name. It's like a love letter, isn't it? We're writing each love letter to Lord Krishna. Such a sweet love letter. But if we don't know what we're saying, it's fruitless. We need to hear the chanting.
Thank
All right, just what I wanted to add that.
Yes, very important point, because Prabhupada also said this.
Thank you.
Where is the question of the mind? You just chant and you hear. So hearing is very important. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Mataji. Thank you, devotees. Sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry.
No, not at all. Would you be joining us on the chanting or you're busy?
I got this young man with chicken pox, so I'll be chanting as best as I can.
Okay.
I'm
Okay,
doing
no
daddy
problem.
crap. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, sorry.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namni. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Candramauli Swami Niti Namni. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami